All right, we're going to be recording this just so anyone that couldn't make it, and I told Scott I would send it to him as well. So he'll be on here. If you could do me a favor and make sure your mics are muted just until we get to the question and answer part. We can go back to anything that you have questions about. Give Samantha another minute or so to see if she's getting back on. How's everyone doing? Great. All right. All right. So, what I wanted to go over with you guys today, there's a couple of things that we need to get on the same page about, and I want everyone on the same call so you guys all hear the same information. I was just meeting with a store director, going over the 4S report with her. She had never seen it before from her manager, so I want to make sure that we're going over those. You get them in the packets, share the information with them. That way it gets it fresh in their mind. If they have displays they can give you, there's numbers in there, direct margin numbers. They love to hear that kind of stuff. But, you know, like I said, I just had that conversation with the store director, and she was pretty excited about that. So that's something we should be utilizing. If there's different approaches that you guys take, share it with the team. Things that work or things that don't work, let's all share that information. We can get an email going with everyone on it. That way you don't have to answer it if you're busy, but you still have the same information. All right. So I had to change some stuff last minute. Scott wanted it changed. Can you guys see this? Can everyone see my screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I'll try and go slow because I know some of you guys don't have the best connection. But like I said, I'm going to record this. I'll send you guys the PowerPoint presentation also, so you can go over it with your senior store reps, your assistant team leaders too. All right. So we got an email from Gary earlier in the week with some requests. Not anything too dramatic, but it is going to take some work on your parts. I'll read this email real quick. You guys can read it again later. Basically, all it says is that Randy's been doing a lot of extra work to try and get the case rate report to us, get the metrics to us in a timely manner. And I know sometimes we have to ask for him, but he's got a lot going on, and it's not his only job. It's not his primary job even, so we want to try and help him with that. Lisa's been using a lot of the warehouse and Power BI to get you the information you need. I know some of that stuff you guys have access to, some you don't. So I try and send on as much as I can. It doesn't always happen, so we're trying to get you the same information I have each day. We're going to try and code the hours each day. If we can get payroll done daily, we can get our metric reports much quicker. I know Meyer, on their Power BI, they're able to see like up to the hour. That's how quick it refreshes for them. For us, it's a little bit different, but if we can get a daily or even a weekly report for metrics, it's a lot easier to make up later in the quarter rather than wait until 2 weeks after to get the metrics. It happens. You know, there's a lot that goes into that report. So effective immediately, store managers will enter the payroll information, including the project code, on a daily basis so that they can pull that information and upload to the data warehouse. If you can get your team to do this, so if I have 4 merchandisers and 3 of them know how to do it, I'm going to teach the 4th one. Because the more that they do, the less that you have to do. You should be able to just go in there and approve it. If we have multiple deco people each day, they want us to go in there and account for that as well. They estimate that we do this about 30% of the time. We need to get better at that, and I know Scott's pushing for this, and we normally are one of the first areas to take on things like this and become quite efficient at it. And our numbers seem to show that. So we'll go back to questions, like I said, at the end. So write them down as we're going. That way you don't forget them. The safety sign-offs. I know last quarter we got these the last week of the quarter. It took a lot of doing. So try and send these to me as you get them signed. Print them off. Make sure your people sign them. Get them back to me. Use the scanner or the store scanner rather. That way you can just email it right to me, and I can forward them on to Nessie. So if there's any issues with you guys getting these done, let me know. Pretty simple, but it's something we need to do, something we need to work on with our team, making sure we get that information back quicker. MV checks and survival walks. These are completed each day. I'm trying to get some changes onto the survival walk. I talked to Terry this morning about that. I know a lot of my people, they do their survival walk and their MV check at the same time. They'll go back there and check on a Meyer computer at 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. to look for M plans. When you do the M plans, go into the location rather than just your store M plans, because the location always shows the M plans even if they're not showing up under your M plan tab. If that makes any sense. Like Richard had an M plan he didn't see. He couldn't see it because it wasn't in his M plan, but it shows up in location. I know with the changeover, there's been a lot of issues with MV this week. Any issues where a plan may be late, here's what we need to do. This is the procedure. Look up the information online, get the ID, get all the questions that you need, answer those questions in an email, attach the photos, and email that information to the project manager and CC Kyle and myself. So this way we aren't getting penalized for any misses. Some of these stores, Store 30, Store 56, and 174, which just joined our group this last week. Awesome job communicating all the M-plan issues. I mean, you guys were on top of it, and you knew it was going to be an issue before I ever did, which is good. I check M-plans at 5 o'clock usually, just to make sure that we didn't miss any. I'm going to show you how to change your threshold also, so that way it alerts you. This way I look in there, I can see what's going to be due and what we have some time on. But good job communicating, everyone. I really appreciate that. I had the information before they asked for it, which saves me a lot of time tracking it down. So I do appreciate that. Here on your dashboard, if you can see the MV dashboard, right on the dashboard, it'll show you which, I have the threshold thing up here, but it'll show you how many M plans are late, how many are projected to be late, on time, infinity, all that. The late status is default. It's based on the M plan's due date. What I've done is I've changed it for projected to be late. So when I see these in yellow, I know that I need to check them. Some of them say M plans are late right now because of those issues, but the M plans projected to be late are the ones that I need to focus on. I put that 1 day prior to due date, so then it shows up. When I log in at 5 p.m., if that number is not 0, then there are plans that are going to be late. I try and get on those each day just to make sure. I log in twice a day to the management portal at least. You guys should be doing the same. Make sure your store team members, if they're in charge, that they're checking it, your assistant managers, whoever you have that's backing you up and is in charge of the store on your day off needs to know how to do that. Walk them through it, have them show you the process so that they understand it, and you're able to hold them accountable if they fail to do so. Because a lot of times I've heard, oh, well, they didn't show me how to do that, and we don't want that as an excuse. We want to make sure everyone knows what's going on at all times. Makes it easier. Sub it up. We're going to have the schedules posted in the back room by Wednesday. So by yesterday, next week's schedule should be posted. There's no time for that just before you leave. We want to have the next 2 weeks published by Friday at noon. Scott wanted me to change that so that way we have time to make adjustments and fix things if we need to. Because the market managers will be checking at noon, Scott will also be checking just to make sure we meet the requirements. The following 2 weeks after that should be unpublished, which, like I said before, you can publish them now and they won't be held against you, whereas they used to be. Make sure you're using the templates only when you're creating shifts. We're getting counted against for templates being used, or not being used rather, and it's a quick fix. So you want to make sure that you're using that. And you can adjust the templates to meet your store's schedule, but just use the template so we're getting credit for that. You want to make sure any changes that are made, they need to be put on Sub It Up as soon as possible for all shifts. So if I switch a shift with Anthony for tomorrow, after I verbally discuss that with him, I'm going to go on Sub It Up real quick and change that shift. So tomorrow, if I'm working his store, it's going to show that. And if someone's coming to look in to talk to Anthony, they're going to know he's not there. This has happened a couple times already, so we want to make sure everyone's on the same page. If I'm coming in expecting to talk to you and you're not there and you haven't changed the schedule, well, that doesn't look good for you. And sure, you may have worked 6 days that week, but if you didn't communicate that to me, it's still on you. You tell me, hey, I'm working 6 days this week and here's the changes I made. I'm going to say, great. As long as your store's covered, we're good. Communication is really, what I need. That way, if I get asked about it, I know what's going on. You want the schedule posted to reflect the changes also, so everyone's on the same page. It's their responsibility to get their schedules, but it's your responsibility to make sure it's available to them. Put it in the same place every week. Don't move it. If you're going to make changes and you're just going to write it in, make sure they're understanding that. And I know some people have even gotten their employees to initial it, just so they know that they got it. You want to get all your employees involved. That means training them and ensuring they're aware of the expectations. So don't just sign someone up for Sub It Up and expect them to figure it all out on email. Show them how to use the system. Show them the app. Show them where they can find their schedule. That way you know that they understand the procedure. Pretty simple stuff, but we're still making the same mistakes, so we want to try and get better at that. The shift template using the store manager position. If you can see this, you choose a shift template and then it'll bring up store manager. And then I can actually change the time down here from 6 to 2:30 to 5 to 1:30, which is what was happening. But you'll see, like, if you don't choose the shift template, it's going to mark us wrong. And I don't really have any way to know if you did that or not. So if we all get on the same procedure, then we won't have to worry about it. But we're working on that and figuring out how to determine what is a shift template and what's not on your schedule. So in the meantime, just use the shift templates and change the time. I know some stores are using, I'll go back to this. Some stores are using a staggered schedule, which means, we have our number one come in 6 a.m., break down the load, get carts ready, condition the store, and then some of their team comes in at 7, some comes in at 8, and they'll have some come in at noon to 4 or whatever. Anything we can do to get later service is always great, as long as it's someone we can rely on. Especially with the kids coming back to school, it's going to be busier. We want to make sure we have shelf stocked, for the afternoon people, the people getting out of work at 4 or 5 o'clock. So anyone that wants to work on a schedule like that and has the staff availability, let me know and I'll work on it with you, or you can take care of it and tell me what's working, what's not. That way we can try and improve conditions and capture lost sales. Use the whiteboards in your back room. Make sure you're keeping your office space organized. Make sure we're using the proper safe equipment. Don't use hand jacks that are broke or flat tops that don't have the bottoms, or ladders that slide. Try and find good material for them, because if we're giving them a flat top that doesn't lock, well, that's on us. We need to check that stuff before we do. Or if you're using broken pallets, rather, something happens, it's on us. So try and find the best equipment you can for them. Make sure they have sharp blades. Make sure they know how to use them. Make sure they have their name badges on in the appropriate location, not on your belt or your waist area, top left on your collared shirt. Break-related activities, if you're going to be texting, talking on the phone, we want to make sure that they're doing that off the sales floor. Pretty simple. If they're going to be drinking liquids of any kind, it needs to be in a break room, not in the aisle or the back room. And we don't store soda cans or anything back there, coffee cups, only in areas that you're allowed to drink at. The dress code, make sure we're following that as well. I've seen some people in jeans, black jeans, they're still jeans, so we want to make sure we're in dress pants, khaki pants, that kind of thing. Cargos are allowed. Make sure you're signing in and out of MV in the store logbook each week. So your daily timesheet, make sure you're scanning in and out of the scanners. Um, MV, I've seen a lot of people when I log in at 5 that are still on their device. Get them in the habit of resetting their device or logging off so that way they're not coming up as active working on M plans. And if it is, then I can check into it. You want to list metrics, goals, tasks, projects, or available shifts on your whiteboard also. That way if someone wants to pick up a shift or they want to know, what we're going for, it's available to them because a lot of them have no idea. So we want them to know what they're working towards. So put that kind of stuff on your whiteboard, and make sure your office space is clean, uncluttered. If you have survival walks, that it's in the book, not on another clipboard or somewhere else. If I need to look for survival walks, they all need to be in the same place. So, dress code policy. This just lists the dress code because there are some questions. If anyone has any questions about this, it's in the handbook, but I just listed it here also so you can print it off. And it just says this should be how we approach each day as we are becoming a stronger, smarter team together. It just says the difference between success and failure is a great team. And obviously, I couldn't do this without you guys, and you couldn't do it without your team. So just want to make sure you guys know that you're appreciated. I know it's been crazy this week. M plans have been insane, and just a lot of work. We have a lot coming up too. Arts and crafts we got to get working on. Home store's picking up a little bit, but you guys are pulling together pretty well, working together really well, and I appreciate that. So anything you guys can do to help each other, please do so. Just keep me in the loop of any communication that you think is pertinent to me. I mean, I don't need to know if you didn't get in a case of this or that, but you know what you should be adding me on. So that's pretty much it. I just wanted you guys to all be aware of what's going on. The main thing would be to get your people signing in on ADP, show them the process so that you're not worried about doing that each day and they're taking care of it. So with that, do we have any questions? Now's the time to ask them. Oh, my speaker must not be working because I don't have any questions.
How do we put Adeco's time in when we only do it on the app on Sundays?
That is a great question. I'll have to address that today. I was told that they want to do it daily, so they're
Well,
gonna.
there's no way to do that.
Yeah, well, they'll have to change it to a daily M plan then, I guess.
Okay.
That part hasn't been addressed yet, but that is great to bring up. As soon as I get an answer on that, I'll let you know too. Anyone else? Okay. Seems like no one else. Yeah, so I'm going to send you this presentation. I'll send you the link to the recording once I get it uploaded. That way you can share it with your assistants if you want to. Or you can just go over the information with them. But just make sure that they understand it. And if there's any questions from them, I'll be happy to answer it. I'll be out of Belleville after this week, hopefully, and able to tour stores again. But working a store, honestly, it's been a while, but it's opened my eyes to a lot of stuff that you guys have to deal with, and it's not always easy. A lot of things can go wrong and usually do, and you guys pull together to get it done. So, I mean, honestly, that's what makes us so valuable in Meyer's eye. But yeah, I just want you guys to know I appreciate it all, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.